The most powerful man in the world was dying in a freezing tent, and a young soldier came to ask him for the night's password. It was a small ritual, one word, every evening to seal the camp. The emperor could have said anything. Instead, he gave 4 words that have outlived his entire empire. Hold on to that sentence, because by the end of this, you'll understand that he wasn't really talking to the soldier at all. He was talking to you. His name was Marcus Aurelius. For nearly 2 decades, he ruled Rome. Through war on the frozen frontier, through a plague that emptied whole cities, through betrayal by men he had trusted with his life. He never wanted any of it. As a young man, he wanted to be a philosopher, to sit quietly with ideas. But duty set a crown on his head, and he wore it the only way the Stoics knew how, doing what had to be done, without complaint, one ordinary day at a time, for the rest of his life. Now, at 58, the plague had finally come for him too, and the people around his bed were doing exactly what you and I would do, grieving, afraid, holding on. There's a name for what he did in that tent. I call it the setting sun, the Stoic discipline of facing your own ending so directly, so early, and so often that when it finally arrives, you have nothing left to fear and nothing left undone. Most people spend their whole lives running from the sunset. Marcus spent his learning to bow to it, and that single difference is the last lesson he left behind. For years, Marcus had written private notes to himself by candlelight, not for an audience, not for fame. Nobody was ever supposed to read them. They were just reminders, scratched down to keep his own mind steady on the hardest nights. We call those notes the Meditations today, and it is the strangest bestseller in history, a book the author never meant to publish, written by the most powerful man alive, and almost every line is him telling himself to calm down, to be patient, to remember he will die. That last part he wrote over and over. 2 words in different forms, on page after page. Mementomori. Remember that you will die. Not to be morbid, not to be gloomy, to be awake. Here is the part almost everyone gets backwards. We treat death as the enemy of life. The Stoics treated it as the thing that gives life its weight. A man who truly accepts that his time is finite stops wasting it. He stops postponing the life he means to live. He stops bleeding hours over insults that won't matter by Tuesday. Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to live, Marcus wrote. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Not be rich, not be remembered. Be good. Now, so let's bring the setting sun out of that ancient tent, because if it only worked for a dying emperor, it would be a nice story and nothing more. The truth is, you are running from your own sunset right now, in ways you don't even notice. Let me show you 3 of them. The first is the screen in your hand. Watch what you actually do when a moment goes quiet. There's a pause, in line, in an elevator, in your own bed at midnight, and your thumb finds the glass before your mind even decides. We tell ourselves we're killing time. Think about that phrase. Killing time. As if you had so much of it that murdering an hour was a favor to yourself. Marcus would call that exactly what it is. A man with 10,000 years to live who does not have 10,000 years. The scroll is comfortable because it lets you avoid the one thought the setting sun forces on you, that the minutes you're numbing are the only ones you get. You're not killing time. Time is killing you, gently, while you look away. The Stoic doesn't fill the silence. He lets the silence remind him to live. The second place you're running is your work, your need to control, to win, to be seen as right. Marcus ran the largest empire on earth. If anyone had earned the illusion of control, it was him. And yet he wrote, again and again, that almost nothing was actually in his hands. Not the plague, not the loyalty of his generals, not whether Rome would remember him kindly or burn his statues. Only one thing was ever truly his, how he chose to act right now. We do the opposite. We grip the things we cannot move, other people's opinions, the outcome of the meeting, the comment under our post, and we let go of the only thing we can actually govern, which is our own conduct in this exact moment. The setting sun cuts through it like a blade. Ask yourself, if I knew this were one of my last years, would I still need to win this argument? Would I still need that person to admit I was right? Almost always, the answer is no. And the freedom in that no is the freedom Marcus was pointing at. The third place, the deepest one, is your relationship with time itself, with legacy, with the question of whether your life will have meant anything. This is the fear under all the other fears. We chase the promotion, the followers, the monument, because some quiet part of us is terrified of setting without leaving a mark. But listen to how Marcus answered that fear. He compared a human life to a play. What matters, he said, is not how many acts you're given, 3 or 5 or 100, but that you play your part well in the acts you get. The one who sets you free, he wrote of death, is the same nature that brought you in. There is no evil in this. He saw death not as the thief of life, but as its other half. The same nature that gives the leaf its spring also gives it its autumn. To rage against the ending is to rage against the very thing that gave you everything you ever had. So here is the setting sun, made into something you can actually do tonight. I want you to perform a small, deliberate experiment. The Stoics called it premeditation, the rehearsal of the ending. Sit somewhere quiet, no screen, and finish this one sentence honestly. If this were my final year, the thing I would stop doing immediately is underscore, 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 underscore. And the thing I would finally begin is underscore, 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 underscore. Don't answer it fast. Sit in the discomfort of it, because the gap between those two answers and the life you're actually living right now, that gap is the exact thing the setting sun was built to close. Most people will never let themselves ask it. You just did. But here's what almost everyone misses about that night in the tent. They hear, "Remember you will die," and they think the lesson is about fear or urgency or squeezing every drop out of the clock. It isn't. Watch what Marcus actually did. When the young soldier came for the password, the emperor did not grab at one more day. He did not bargain. He looked at this boy with his whole life ahead of him, and he said, "Go to the rising sun. I am already setting. Do you see it?" In his final breath, the dying man's instinct was not to cling. It was to point someone else toward the morning. That is the real last lesson, and it is the opposite of what we expect from death. The setting sun is not about fearing the night. It is about living so fully, so deliberately, so well that when your own evening comes, you can turn toward the next generation, toward the people still climbing, and gesture at the sunrise without a trace of envy or regret, and simply mean it when you say, "Go on." It was enough. So the emperor turned his face away, covered his head as if to sleep, and was gone by morning. No empire followed him. No gold went with him. Only the way he had lived and the calm with which he chose to leave. And that same sunset is already moving toward each of us, toward you, a little every single day. You are already setting too. The only question the setting sun asks is whether, when your evening finally comes, you'll claw at the dark or point at the light. Here is the one rule, the whole lesson folded into a single line you can carry out of this video. Live each day well enough that you could end it without regret, because one of them will be the last, and you won't get to choose which. Don't wait for a deathbed to learn that. Remember you will die, and let it make you brave enough to finally live. If this moved you, subscribe. New Stoic wisdom every day. Now go to the rising sun. Short texto natila, 1-4 final words, 2 mementomori term calm. Full video on the channel plus hashtag marcusaurelius hashtag Stoicism hashtag mindset.